Hey guys, Abby from Motor City Nerds here, and let's talk about Stranger Things Season 4 and all the spoilers and everything. I think this was the most, I know they take a lot of homages from Stephen King, but this was the most Stephen King-y, so, and there's a huge Easter egg in there for that, but, so we got the Stephen King out, but Vecna was very Pennywise-y, spiders, coming back and laying dormant. The whole town is kind of infected. I really like the Pennywise-ness of it all, and I really appreciated that the first half of the season was very Nightmare on Elm Street, Poltergeist-esque, and this one was almost, and the last two episodes were almost like, I felt like in Russia, it was like aliens, it was like sci-fi, but when we went back to America, it was right back to horror, and it was really cool, and I really liked the way they were playing with that, and I just wanted to say that really quick. Because I'm talking about my boy, you know we're gonna have to bring up the tower, the rose, just everything about it, and I have a theory that I guess it could still work out, because I thought season 4 was the final season, but then they were like, no, there's going to be a season 5, and I think that it's going to, okay, spoilers for the Dark Tower series. It ends where it begins. I know that, and that's why a lot of people hate it, and I love it. And he gets to the tower, and he opens up a door, and then it's just restarting in the first book. And I think that The Gunslinger is the greatest opening of any book ever, and it's the man in black fled across the desert, and the gunslinger followed. They've always pulled from Stephen King, I mean, down to the font, which it's cool to see, but, I mean, 11 is essentially Firestarter, but I'll just go down a whole rabbit hole, but I mean, if they're Stephen King fans, this is a very big possibility. Oh, the other Pennywise thing that's huge, fighting in your mind. And I talked about that in my other video where I did it's not as spoilery, but this one's going to be full of spoilers. But the mind fight, that's very Pennywise, the turtle, roses, that's all very Stephen King-esque. And I'm like, what if the final season ends and they wake up and it's a restart back in season 1 and everybody's back and it's like, oh man, deja vu, what happened? And I'm like, that's still on the table. Like that it picked right up with Nancy and how he wanted her to see it. He was pulling I mean, you can call it an Elena Tyrell, but I'm going to call it a Beatrix Kiddo in Kill Bill when she's like, no, I want Bill to know. And so you already know some shit is up. But the monologue that Vecna says, and this is the Talisman by Stephen King, and Lucas is reading this to Max in the end, and it's very similar to what Vecna says in the very beginning to Nancy. And I'm just going to read you guys the summary. You're about to take a journey on a terrifying trip across a nightmare America filled with monsters beyond anything ever imagined before. A journey into the dark heart of horror. I mean, I've read The Talisman. It's been a minute, but essentially everything that they were saying about the world being taken over and all this stuff, it's very, I liked that little wink. I liked that he was reading it. I liked that Vecna in the very beginning and then Lucas at the very end tie it together. I like that. I thought that the humor really hit. I said this in my other video. I really liked when they steal the Winnebago and the Michael Myers mask. I was genuinely laughing. Now, I've been saying that I thought Steve was going to die, and obviously he didn't. And this went, honestly, you guys want me to be real? I think that Eddie was low-hanging fruit. I think they could have done better than that. I'm kind of sick of them having a new person show up and that's the one they kill. I was shocked with what they did with Max, but that kind of leans more into, I think Max is going to have powers by next season. I don't know why I think that, but now I really think that. And all of the shots in the Winnebago were really well done. They were beautifully shot. I really liked the lighting. It was just you knew the feeling. You knew the feeling, and anytime a show or a movie can transport you like that, it was. And these kids they're acting their asses off. They're doing so good. And I will say that I think Lucas and Max have so much chemistry on screen. They're great together, but they're great separate too. Like Lucas, I feel like really out of all the kids. And I know they're like adults now, but he really stepped up. Like, I think this was the first time I watched them in this, and I was like, wow, you're acting really, really good. The scene between Will and Mike was so poetic, and the dialogue in that was so good. And I know there's a lot of stuff out there about him being gay, and I could totally see that, and I don't mind that. That'd be really cool to do. But I think he's going to end up being the bad guy. He keeps having this connection to the Mind Flayer, and I keep saying this. I'm like, this kid was just trying to go home. This kid was just trying to go home, and he kind of got shoved into this. So I think it's almost like, I think his hesitancy towards people might not be sexuality. It might be, I know I can't get attached to anybody, and I have to detach from my friends because I know what's coming, and I know that I'm going to end up either gone, stuck in the Upside Down, or a part of this evil being. And I think that's even scarier because that's exactly how Pennywise is. He absorbs you. Like, you don't, whatever you believe in, you don't pass on when Pennywise eats you. You don't pass on when Vecna takes you. And that's what I was saying to my mom when we watched the first half. I was like, hold up. Does he kill them and he's just a crazy and going like, oh, they're all in my head, like a nut job? Or does he actually absorb you? And I think that is even more disturbing, is when something absorbs you. You know what I mean? That's just, I don't like that. That's really creepy. And I mean, it's creepy, it's scary, it works, but yeah, no, that's unsettling. So I definitely do think that Will knows this. I think that Will knows, like, I'm going to become a part of this, and I'm not going to be able to get away, so I might as well have these moments while I can. Or maybe he does have a crush on Mike, and that'd be cool, too. That'd be a big deal, and I really appreciate that. I mean, representation is cool, but it would also make sense for the character. I always thought that he was kind of just stunted, and same thing with, I want to play D&D, and you guys want to hang out with girls. It's like, I kind of got shafted for a year, but it would also make sense, too, if his sexuality... If he's questioning that, then that would also make sense. He feels like a loner. He feels like he's not the same. Like, it works for both, is what I'm saying. But to me, towards the end of this, and especially with that conversation with Mike, I was like, I think that you're going to have to say goodbye to everybody next season. I think it started with Will and it's going to end with Will. But oh my God, that painting was adorable. I wish somebody would do that for me. I wish somebody would paint a painting of me. No, not of me, but of like our friends and stuff. That was so adorable. I loved that. Oh, and you guys know that I love it when they throw crazy magic Catholicism religion at us, and I liked it when they were like the 4 gates, the 4 horsemen of the apocalypse, like that's what they're saying, and I was like, oh, I see what you're doing here. And I don't know if I said this in my last video, but I really appreciate how much Stranger Things ties together science and, what word am I looking for? Oh, and the supernatural. God, why can't I think of words? But I do like the way that they tie those together so that they both exist, but which one came from the other? Is it magic? Is it supernatural? Are you born with your power? Are you given it? Is it scientific? I really like the way they do that. And I do think that they were showing, especially in the first half with Owen and Brenner, the scientists, it was nature versus nurture. Now, who gives a shit about Brenner? I'm sorry. Why are we acting like we give a fuck about this guy? My mom wants to get her hair dyed and cut like him. I'm like, go into Anthony's and tell them I want the evil scientist from Stranger Things. They're going to know exactly what you're talking about. But I just didn't like... It's like Frankenstein's monster, and I know a lot of people are like, well, Eleven's going to be the bad guy. I'm like, well, they kind of said that in the first season, and it's what do they say? It's not what you choose. Doesn't Dumbledore say some shit like that, where he's like, it's not, everybody isn't one thing. I mean, a lot of things say that. Jedi say it, whatever. There's got to be an in-between, you know what I mean? And I did like how Eleven got her powers back, and I did like her story with Brenner, but I'm like, I don't care about the evil scientist who's experimenting on children and taking them from their moms. I'm sorry, and creating alternate dimensions. I mean, because if you really think about it, yeah, we can say that it's 11, but he's the one tampering with their brains and shit. He's the one doing this stuff, so I don't know. I don't feel bad for you, and I don't feel bad that you're dead. But I really did love her escape scene. That was sick. That was really cool. The military coming in was really cool. Now, I was saying over on Movie Lovers Unite, when we talked about Harley Quinn being played by Lady Gaga, we did a whole video on that, but at the end we were talking about Stranger Things, and I was saying they definitely were going for an E.T. vibe in the California area, and that was, and I really like that a lot, because I love E.T. E.T. is the shit. But I always say this, even when I was a kid watching E.T., you don't really understand what's going on. All you know is that, like, the government's coming. Don't tell them we have an alien. They're going to tarp your house. And when those astronauts come in, you don't, like, when you're a kid, it's scary. You're like, I don't fully understand what's going on here, but these people are in my house, and it's unnerving is what it is. And so I kept saying that, and then we got that shoot 'em up scene, and I was like, oh my God, this is like the worst possible scenario of the government coming in. Oh my God, Jesus. Because I kept saying that about E.T., and then I was like, oh my God, the government, they're coming in. I did love Eleven's escape, though. That was sweet. And it was super Firestarter-esque and more Stephen King. And, I mean, 11 is very much like Firestarter. If you've read it, or watched it, they're very similar. And like I said, I appreciate them paying. This is a perfect way to pay homage to things without ripping them off. You know what I mean? Like, Stephen King has mad beef with the Hunger Games. I don't know if people knew that, but in high school, they tried this thing, and it's a really cool idea. It's called One Book, One School, and they make every grade read it. That way you all have something in common if you have classes together, and then you all had to write a paper on it, but they wanted us to do the Hunger Games, but I had already read The Running Man, so I was like, why the fuck would I read the Hunger Games? It's The Running Man. Same thing with Squid Games. I'm like, no, this is fine, but I've seen it before. And then everyone's like, you're missing the point. I'm like, have you ever read Running Man? Read it. The book is amazing. The Bachman books, but anyway, Stephen King's got mad beef with them, because it's Hunger Games is just The Running Man with children, and I remember my teacher was like, well, you have to write a paper on it, so you better know, blah, blah, blah. I wrote a paper on The Running Man and just changed the gender. And I was like, and I told her that after I got the grade, I was like, well, I wrote it off The Running Man. And she was so pissed. And I was like, I'm not about to waste my time reading another book, even though I know The Hunger Games is good. I was just like, I was a stupid teenager who wanted to go smoke in a garage. And I was like, no, I'd rather just write it off of The Running Man, which is the same concept, right? The Duffer Brothers, though, they toe the line perfectly of paying homage without ripping off, and I really appreciate that, and I think it's really cool, and you can tell that they really love the stuff they grew up on. I love the scenes when Eleven is snooping. I don't want to call it snooping, but she's trying to listen in, and I did say that in my other video. I was like, if I have the time, I'll edit some of this stuff in, but I was like, Eddie is distracting the bats. That's why he's up there playing the guitar. And because some people were like, oh no, it's going to be a song for Nancy. I was like, no, it's going to be to distract the bats, right? And 11 won't make it to Hawkins. I was like, she's going to have to go inside her brain to them. And I thought that was really cool. And I liked the way that they all reunited. We'll get to that, but that was cool. I liked that. Oh, I really like Jake and Hagar. We have the faceless man running around with the Hopper. I really like him a lot. See, I have another note that says Lucas and Max are killing it, and like I said, I can't speak more highly for these actors. They were doing amazing. Once again, I loved the Satanic Panic stuff with Jason and bringing him in, and I loved him and Nancy kind of squaring off together. Also, no girl that age could shoot a sawed-off shotgun. The kickback on that is so hard that, like, I'm pretty strong, and I sometimes have to hold the barrel down like that, and, with this hand, and then shoot, yeah, and that way it doesn't fly up and hit you in the face, but either way, very cool. And I really liked their Fellowship of the Ring, all coming together and making their weapons, and making Molotov cocktails like badasses, and it's just like, oh my god, remember when things were lawless, and kids did whatever they wanted? No, don't make Molotov cocktails, I'm not condoning that. But more so in this season than any other season, we had this real-world threat of the Satanic Panic with this kid, with Jason and the town, and I really liked that, and I was like, oh my god, this kid's really out for blood. There are some violencies. But back to the Fellowship moment, I think this is like the last time we like see them as kids. We see them all hanging out, having like fun before they go on this deadly adventure, and it's melancholy. We get to see Erica and Lucas together. We get to see Eddie and Dustin together. We get to, and then Steve and Robin. They're great. Maya Hawke is great. And Joe Keery's great. They're great. They are great together on screen. Oh, I will say during Eleven's escape, when she went full Darth Vader, that was such a sick effect. That looked so cool and was such a cool scene. That just needs a nod. I really loved 11. I mean, I would say that Mike and Will, I would say that Will had the best dialogue in these past two episodes, but then when Mike talked to 11, that was so poignant and beautiful. I loved that. I really did. That was great. And then that's the part that makes me think maybe Will is gay. I mean, like I said, I'm not opposed to it. I'm just like, there are other factors playing in here, but there's definitely something going on, and he's longing for something else, and or he knows, like, I'm going to have to say goodbye to them. And because the way he hugs Elle even is like, you're hugging somebody like you're never going to see them again. And I think Will knows that. I don't think he's going to make it through to the end. Man, when they dropped Separate Ways by Journey, when they were driving in the Winnebago, that broke my little heart because you knew it was going down. I will say they did a really, really good job of keeping us in the dark of who's really going to bite it. Like, who's going to bite it. And then I was pissed off at Netflix. I was like, why would you come out the day before and say 5 people are going to die? But then I was like, maybe it's a joke. I don't know. But I really, really thought it was going to be Steve. I thought the walking around the house kind of took forever. But like I said, we had like spooky horror going on over here. And then we went over to Russia. It was very much like Alien or Aliens. It was very much like that. And I really liked it. It was like sci-fi over here, horror over here. I really liked that. I thought that was really cool. But the walking around the house was creepy. It was really good. I was just like, oh my god. Like, I kept thinking something was going to jump out and then it didn't. My notes just say, oh my god, Lucas is adorable. I really did. I thought him and Max, like, really, that emotionally hit. Like, even for me, an adult, like, that emotionally hit. I loved it. I'll tell you what really, really hit. And this is what made me realize, like, no, I don't know what it is with Will, but this is the part that made me think he was, like, saying goodbye to everybody almost, was when he had the conversation with Jonathan. And you know that Jonathan knows some shit is up. And like I said, it can go any way. It could be, maybe it is his sexuality. Maybe it is him realizing, like, I'm going to have to give myself up to the Mind Flayer. Maybe that's what it is. I'm going to be stuck in the Upside Down. I better appreciate everybody I'm around now. I don't know. But that hug with 11 is what really kind of made me go like, it could be either one. But when Jonathan picks up on it, I'm like, oh my god, this is so sweet and nice. And I like that they gave Argyle something to do, because they kind of just threw the stoner in there, and I love Argyle, but it had a point. He knew how to, the pizza place had a point. It all had a point, and I was like, oh, good job. I liked this. And I really loved when they made the bath there. I thought that was really cool. I talked about that in my other video. God, I love Metallica, and I love Master of Puppets. It makes me drive like a maniac, though. Don't ever play Metallica if I'm driving. I will say this, though, that Jock is a maniac, but that was the Satanic Panic was like a real thing, and it does look really bad. when you show up and there's somebody with their eyes rolling in the back of their head and they're sitting in front of a bunch of candles and a bunch of lights are flickering, it does kind of look bad, especially if you're looking for a crazy satanic cult. But that fight, that was the best part. Lucas beating the brakes off that guy was the best. That was the best. But I genuinely was getting concerned. I was like, oh my god. Also, why is that like grown ass teenager attacking Erica? Like, you could just hold her back. You don't need to tackle her to the ground. That would be the one thing that we'd probably all come stomp you out for. Is like if we found out that you beat up our little sibling, that'd be some bullshit. When Max starts getting taken over and that Lucas flip. That's what I mean with the acting, too. Like, he does such a good job, and that was so creepy. That's the creepiest part, and that's the creepiest part about Pennywise and Derry and all that. It's like, okay, what's scarier, this monster or this real thing that, or like my fears or or like anxieties of the real world? And it's like, what if I said what I'm most afraid of and with Billy and stuff, and then Lucas flips on me, and how are they going to look at me? And I really like that, and I thought that actor, what's his name, Caleb, I'm blanking on his last name. He did a really good job, but I really liked that. And I was like, oh no, we're stuck in her mind. But I really loved when 11 showed up. That was really cool. And I like that they took this nice thing like the school dance that we all loved so much, and where she had her first kiss, and then we have 11 show up in her brain, and that was so sick. That was sick. I think that was 11's best entrance, and I think this is my favorite season besides the first season. See, we're gonna get crazy because I have a bunch of notes that are tied in with the Dark Tower, like the world has moved on. And that's kind of like the world that Vecna is flipping our world, or the Hawkins world, into, the world that has moved on. But when Eddie died, that was absolutely heart-wrenching. That was heartbreaking. Like, I know we all love that character, but that death was hard. That was rough. That was a rough-ass death. And then to have everybody at the end think that he's the one who did all this and, like, was killing all these people, that is so sad. So I'm assuming we're going to have I guess if the ones close to you know that you didn't do some fucked up shit, that's all that really matters. But I hope there's some type of redemption for him. And that's why I'm like, maybe it will be like the Dark Tower. Maybe at the end of Season 5, we'll get a glimpse of everybody. It'll be like, or Sailor Moon. At the end of Season 1, remember when they all go back to Earth and they don't know each other, but they see each other and they're like, oh yeah, I kind of know. Like that. That's kind of how I think Stranger Things will end at the very end. We had the smoke monster going. We learned a lot of stuff in Russia, but I think my main focus was definitely, I need to rewatch it, but it was definitely, my main focus was definitely with the kids over in Hawkins, that's for sure. But I really loved Robin, Steve, and Nancy squaring up with Vecna. That was sick, and Nancy was a badass. That was awesome. One thing I did notice that I really enjoyed about this season was the parallels between Hopper and 11. Like, they're both in prisons. Like, she's in a prison that's her mind. He's in an actual prison. When they're both fighting, they're in different one's physically fighting, one's fighting in their mind, but they're both in their own battle. Like, I really liked it. And then they find each other in the end, and that was really cool. And I liked the way they did that. There was a lot of times when they showed that, especially in the first half with the prison, and then they'd cut to Elle, and then they'd go back, and it was similar but different. And I really liked the way they did that. Another thing that the Duffer Brothers are really good at, because this is going to be a short little video, another thing they're really good at, because I'm going to do a full breakdown, recap, Easter egg thing over on Movie Lovers Unite on the 5th, which is Friday? Is that Friday? On the 5th, so I'll post about it, so look out. Anyway, the Duffer Brothers do a really, really good job every season of, oh my god, great, oh my god, like, it's sad, but oh my god, we have you reunite. All of them reuniting and all of them seeing each other was so well done. All the different characters, Joyce and Elle, Mike and everybody, Will and everybody, like, everybody had their own emotional beat to them, and it worked. It was really, really well done, and I really liked it. But they do a really good job of, like, oh my god, look at how sweet, even though this terrible thing just happened, and then we go right into, holy shit. And then with this one, it's like, oh, this is scary. This is big scary, but it's very talisman-y. A world that's moved on. That's from the Dark Tower, though. Like I said, go brush up on your Stephen King, and then tell me I'm wrong. I really did. I loved everybody reuniting. Hopper and Elle was great. Everybody was great. And then Dustin going up to Eddie's uncle, Robin getting with Vicky or like talking to her. That was super sweet. I really liked that a lot. Steve being content with where he is in life. That's when you need to be worried, is when your characters had a full arc. So now we got to really, really worry about Steve, guys. But no, I love the way they do that, where you're like, oh my god, and then you're like, wait, there's 2 minutes left. What the fuck? And then we get hit with that shit. I was like, oh my god, this is nuts. This is crazy. And I didn't think they would go like the whole world is falling apart, but they are, and I'm like, I'm here for it. But it's because now we're going into like full apocalypse mode, dystopia. But that's what makes me think we're going to travel back in time, and season 5 will end with season 1 restarting, and we'll like see Eddie walk by, and then we'll see this, and I really think that might be how it goes. Tell me what you liked about it. This was just like a short little recap talk about it and how Stephen King-y it is, and I don't know, I really liked it a lot. I love Stranger Things. It's a blasty blast. But tell me what your favorite part of it was. Tell me how sad you are that Eddie's gone. Oh yeah, and Max. Max is fucked up. But I really liked, like, I don't know what they were trying to say with Elle going into her mind, but are they trying to say that she's brain dead? Because that's really sad. That's really super sad. But anyway, let's end on a happy note. I don't know. That was really sad. I don't know why I just thought that. And Nettie died. Oh my God, that's even sadder. The Hopper L reuniting, the friends reuniting, that was really cool. But that ending, that was like, and everybody keeps saying, that's why I think they're trying to, I think they're tricking us with the time jump too. I think that they're saying all this stuff. They're like, oh no, there's going to be a time jump because the kids get older. I don't think that's going to happen. I think they're going to go straight into filming immediately. That's what I think. I think they're going to go straight into filming, or they've already started and they're keeping it really under wraps. And then, like I said, it'll restart and they'll all be little kids again. And I really do. I think that they're going to go right in. I mean, I guess I could see them waiting a few years, but then it would be like Goku Black, I feel like, and that might be a problem. I don't know. I feel like some people are like, oh, they're not as adorable and it's kind of losing my interest. But, I mean, I love it. It's great. But either way, I mean, I'd be happy if they jumped forward in time or whatever. But I think they're going to go straight into filming and they're going to trick us all, and the ending's going to be like reversing back in time. That's what I think. But I'm Abby with Motor City Nerds. Tell me what you think. Tell me what your favorite part of this was. Tell me if you got some serious Stephen King vibes. Tell me if you've read The Talisman, because this is a jammy. And yeah, thank you to all the new subscribers. We passed 700. I can't believe it. We're on our way to 1,000. Join the Penguin Gang. Yeah, I can't believe it. Thank you guys so much. I really appreciate it. I'm on all my stuff's down below. You can follow me there. I'm shocked at how many people are doing that. Thank you. I'm on OF. It's a good time. And yeah, be safe out there and everybody be nice to each other. And yeah, tell me what your favorite part of this was. Also, Netflix, stop reusing sets like we're not going to know what it is. I get it. You're trying to save money, but there was a few times in this where I was like, did you guys just use the same set from 13 Reasons Why? Which, I mean, that's fine. Save money. People do that all the time. But I was like, did you really have to use the rocket ship slide? Like, that's like a staple in that show. Like, I don't know. I think that they want the audience to be like, oh, yeah, where did I see that? Oh, I should watch this again. That's what I think Netflix is doing. If it was to save money, I would understand. But part of me is like, I think you want people to reminisce about 13 Reasons Why without knowing it and then watch that after so that they stay on Netflix. But anyway, there was a couple times that happened. I'm not going to get into it right now. But tell me if you noticed anything else. The tigers. How come every school are tigers? The Liberty Tigers, the Hawkins Tigers. Everybody's tigers on Netflix. And everybody's got rocket ship slides.